Hi there, I'm Dr. LaQuita J, and welcome to my YouTube channel where I talk about all things in between being and becoming a pharmacist. How you doing? You all right? I hope you have enjoyed this series, this journey with me. You have something I have said has truly embarked you to truly change the trajectory of your life, that you have decided to win. That is my hope. It is my hope that you have gotten gotten the information that you need to give you that push. That you have decided to seek the help and the support that you need. That you have really took time out to reflect on you and say, I can conquer this exam. I can conquer Naplex this year. Now is the time. That is truly my hope and my goal. And I decided, I know the last video, I was like, I ain't tell y'all the stuff, but I decided to peel back some layers and I wanted to talk about the things, like what did I actually do between my first two attempts versus my third and last attempt. Because my first two attempts were filled with so much emotions and roller coasters. It was filled with so much. I just didn't know how to conquer. And my third attempt and final attempt, I would say, let's say my final attempt was different. It was through the mindset, the careful adjustments of my approach, incorporation of strategies. I was truly able to find success. And I was like, soon as I started this video, my sticky note failed because I had points that I wanted to share, but I remember writing them down. So we'll just go from there, right? I want to, but my sticky notes failed. I want, but it's fine. And I try not to. If you watch my videos, I try not to do too much editing. I try to be as real as possible, as if you and I were having a weekly coaching call. And this is our weekly coaching call. This is the weekly motivation that you need, and this is the raw unfiltered me. Okay. So let's get started. One of the biggest things that happened between my first two attempts and my final attempt was, again, if you have seen the rolling theme of this journey, is overcoming those limiting beliefs. One of the biggest obstacles I faced in my first two attempts at the Naplex was my own limiting beliefs. I've doubted my abilities and allowed fear to cloud my judgment. I realized in order to succeed, I needed to shift my mindset. I started by identifying the negative thoughts that were holding me back, such as I'm not smart enough or you will never pass this exam. I replaced those thoughts with positive affirmations, reminding myself of my capabilities, reminding myself the hard work I have already put in, reminding myself. And again, if you have the unbeatable mind, that's that declaration when I had to say, hey, I had to tell myself, girl, you afraid of failing a test? You know how many tests you failed in undergrad? Like, you afraid of failing a test? Like, it's just a test. And it was one of those things of reducing the giant. Don't get me wrong, this test has more weight than the other ones, but it's a test. It's something that could be passed. It's not like losing my mother. I can't get her back in physical form, but I can pass a test. It's just like a job. You can get fired, lose a job, but you can get a job. It's just one of those things, right? So definitely that mindset and going through all those things I had to do to challenge my mind. The second thing was my routine, and it was my routine before I even studied. To commit to getting up early, to having my quiet time with God, to working out, to having breakfast, and being at the library by 8:30 every morning. I had a routine. I changed my daily routine. Doing my first two attempts, I'd follow a rigid study schedule that did not take into account my natural energy levels. I didn't I didn't even have a routine before I study. I was just stressed out, like, okay, I wake up in the morning, have a fresh cup of coffee, let's just study. Versus I prepared my mind, my body for it. And especially my peak energy levels. So when I got into, and if you I will link the video below. I've already have a video called my ideal studies, your ideal study planner routine, I believe. But it talks about peak energy, and I realized that I wasn't even studying my peak energy levels for my first two attempts. So I was often felt drained or studying early in the morning, waking up at 7 o'clock in the morning, studying till 12 o'clock at night. Sometimes 3 o'clock in the night, just studying all day, just training myself. Left me just being unproductive, knowing I should stop studying. Like, no, I keep on going, just stop, and procrastinating. Or always needing time to take a moment to motivate myself. It was one of those things like, no, I can't do that. So for my third attempt, I decided to study only during my peak energy hours. And which was for me, in the morning. I am a morning person. And I absorb information like a sponge in the morning. I'm my most productive in the morning. So I decide to do the things that I hate to do the most in the morning, i.e. study. Reviewing my material, reviewing the notes. Like, nobody likes to, like, it feels easier to watch a video or write your notes. But to actually study, to just say, hey, sit with this information. How are you going to remember this information? That's totally a different ball game. And I had to do that during the times like my peak energy times where I can absorb information and not be trying to do this at 10 o'clock, 8 o'clock at night when I know I'm already low. My energy is low. I had to do the things that works best for me. So it's peak energy. Watch that video. I'm not going into details about it because I'll go into entire details about it in that video, okay? But I had to do that. I had to set aside uninterrupted blocks of time for focused study sessions. And that's when I always start talking about incorporate those breaks. That Pomodoro technique, we do it every single Monday on Make It Happen on Mondays. Or Study With Me, Naplex With Me. It happens, because I like how I Make It Happen Mondays, but I title it Study With Me. Okay, never mind. But this allowed me to change. This change allowed me to be more efficient and retain information so much better because I decided to change my routine. The other thing I did was I created my ideal study plan. I created my study plan based on my peak energy levels, where I didn't focus on. I assessed my strengths and weaknesses. I looked at it and said what areas I'm not too good at. For me, like I'm not necessarily a math person, but it was like one of those things. I guess when I was younger, math was a favorite subject of mine. And when I got to college, I was like, oh, this ain't fun at all. But one of the things of I can understand math, I'm good at it, but I don't like it. Like, I can figure things out. I guess because I like puzzles or something. I can figure it out, but I just don't like it in that sense. So for me, I created my ideal study schedule. I focused on my strengths and weaknesses. I looked at my peak energy and I focused on what the areas I needed to do and broke it down in manageable steps. I decided, okay, my pre-studying routine, I was going to simply, work out, do all those things. But then when I get to the library, what was the routine when I get to the library? Because I said I studied at the library. So I decided from 8:30 to 9 o'clock, that's going to be me getting my mindset ready. It's just like if you're a sports person. I'm not a sports person, but I know a little bit. Okay. But it's like your pregame, right? From 8:30 to 9 o'clock was my pregame. I decided that I'm going to I'm going to prepare my mind before I go out on the field. So from 9 until whatever, that was my study time. But that was, I started studying at 9 o'clock, but the pregame was 8:30 to 9. And I made sure that I focused on things I needed to study. Like I prepared my mind for, hey, we're going to sit here, we're going to learn this information, we're going to do X, Y, Z. I started with a to-do list. That was the thing of, I checked stuff out so I can look back. You know how that bullet point, that bullet journal, like, start out with things I check off so I know I did what I did what I needed to do, because I said this final attempt I'm going to say that it's going to be nothing. If I fail this exam, it's not going to be because I didn't try. I was going to do everything in my power to pass the exam the way I needed to pass the exam, and I made it a point and an effort to do just that. So that's exactly why I want to make sure, like with my ideal study schedule. I started the Pomodoro technique. I incorporate, okay, 50 minutes. When you challenge yourself for 50 minutes to get some work done, you got to have some work done. So you realize in 50 minutes, I just didn't do anything. That's a wake up call for you. So for even like now, creating this planner, I told you I'm creating this Naplex study planner. Creating this planner is the exact same thing of, I have to say to myself, no, I need to do X, Y, Z. It's prevalent for me, like, because if I don't, I know I haven't succeeded. So that's definitely one of the things I have to do. Also, too, utilizing resources. Utilizing what resources are available to you. Majority of the time, your school has already provided you with a prep book. I know some people may say someone prep book better than the other. Being honest, everybody has its pros and cons. Even with my service and my coaching style, it has its pros and cons. And you know what? I maybe create a whole separate video about that, like the pros and cons of what you can do. But lock in on one. Lock in on one particular source. For me, I had to lock in and say, am I truly maximizing what this company has for me? And the thing was, I wasn't. At the time I was doing this and doing that, I had to realize that to maximize on one thing. And then once I mastered that one program, then I went to another. And I'm saying me went to another, meaning that I had bought another test bank. So I started out with one. I'm not going to disclose things I use, okay? Because it's no one's better than the other, honestly. Because you just be buying money, spending money for no reason, okay? But I utilized one. And then once I locked in on what I had already available to me, I utilized the other one. And that helped me. And utilized the other was me not knowing I was creating the foundation for my own program. But I digress. But I had to learn that. Having that, locking in on one and then moving to the other one, that really helped me doing that final attempt, because the first two attempts I was all over the place. Again, I was in those Facebook groups where somebody said, hey, I passed the exam, this worked for me, I did this and that, I just took the exam, I had this question on here, I did, and I was like, oh, let me go focus on this. It's like I constantly changed. It's like how you constantly change all the time. When you look at stuff in the mirror, you don't recognize you because you changed so much. And it was just how my study habits was. I changed so much that I didn't even recognize what I was studying, what I needed to study. And it was a problem. It became a big thing. So I definitely say that sometimes just locking in and utilizing what's already available to you. And then you can find out different things that you may need. For me, it was, I had to lock in, but then again, like I said, people try to pin one source is better than the other, but honestly, everybody has their pros and cons. You have to figure out what works best for you, which program works best for you, what does that program offer, and that's according to your learning style. And if you need to know your learning style, I have a whole series on it in Source 2024 that talks about your learning styles. So just go back and watch those, and I'll link that below, okay? But that's definitely a thing. And and I talked about this. The next thing was I talked about, I need to start numbering these stuff because I don't remember what number I'm on, but y'all let me know. Put them in the comments, the numbers I'm on. Like, list them in order, okay? Because I tend to forget. But the next point, I don't know which number we're on, but I incorporated active learning techniques. I talked about in the previous video about being activity versus productivity. You can be active and running, but you running in place, versus being productive. You having scribes, you walked a mile, you walked two, you ran. Well, I mean, it's using running, not walking, but anywho, you get what I'm saying. It's one of those things that you have to say, like, I had to use active learning techniques. I had to literally say, instead of me passively reading this textbook, I engaged myself about including activities like summarizing information I just wrote, putting it in my own words, teaching concepts to others. I had a study partner that we will just I would say probably like 2 or 3 times a week, if that. Even I think it was on like 15 or 30 minutes. We do like a 30-minute like check fest and just ask as many questions ask as many questions, and then if we don't know, we'll teach the concept to other people. And it was like me applying my knowledge, like, and then to study. And then after I study, when it comes to the questions, I wasn't just trying to pass the quiz or practice exam, whatever you want to call it, practice questions, just to say, hey, I scored something. It was literally to apply the knowledge I had already learned from studying. Like, really, these were techniques that helped me to actively engage in the material and better retain the information. And lastly, one of the biggest things I did was I prioritized self-care. Self-care was the most essential thing to my success. Yes, I studied. I had 10-hour, 12-hour study days. But I always know on Fridays, since even I was in pharmacy school, before pharmacy school, Fridays are what I call date nights. And I just believe in it. And for me, it was whenever I had a boo, I was by myself, baby. It was date night, okay? And then the first 2 attempts, I neglected it. I neglected my date nights, my physical and mental well-being, which negatively impacted my performance. So for my 3rd attempt, I made a conscious decision to prioritize. Friday nights off was non-negotiable. Exercising every single morning was non-negotiable. Attending church, getting my faith, filling my cup up was non-negotiable. Eating more healthy, stop eating sugary snacks and things, and really eat healthy snacks that's gonna not make me sluggish doing that 4 to 3, 1 to 4 time where I feel sluggish. Like, eating healthy things that's gonna keep me energized and keep me going. Getting adequate sleep in my routine, making sure I'm sleeping at least 6.5 to 7 hours, because that works for me. Like, it was those things, incorporating mindfulness, incorporating social outings where I'm going to at least, like I said, I'm gonna have a social outing, like at least a weekend, go do something fun. Just be me, do things that help me. That was definitely one of the things that helped. Because self-care, doing those things with me helped self-care, helped my overall well-being. I even tell you a story. I remember one time, doing pharmacy school, I had failed a test. And honestly, that lady had put that score, the lowest and the highest on the board. Baby, I was the lowest one. My score was the lowest. It could be somebody else, but baby, to me, my score was the lowest one, because our score was on the board. Do you hear me? I end up spring break coming home, and I just study, and it was like I had to ace the next exam to pass the class. And the next that I came out on spring break, I studied for a couple hours. I go have fun. I studied again, and then again I was still doing my peak energy times and taking my notes and studying. And I came back, I was like, oh my gosh, I should have did more XYZ. I should have studied more. I didn't do as much as I should have. I would maximize my time. But I had a good time at home, enjoying myself, being with my family and friends. And I came back, and y'all know I passed that test. So it was like one of those things of sometimes you think you just secluding yourself. You can't have fun, they call it no days off and going in. But sometimes that can create so much anxiety. So for me, prioritize my self-care, help me to stay focused, reduce my anxiety, and help me perform my best, because that was my reward. I always talk about, like, when I was in the last live, creating your habits, the habit loop. One of the part of the habit loop is reward, like how you are rewarding yourself for doing. Like, most times people like, no, I'm just gonna study, do dot 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 until I'm reward when I pass the exam. But sometimes you gotta give yourself little wins and little rewards and cheers on the pats on the back while you are in the process, while you're in the grind, to say, hey, you have achieved something, you have done something, to give yourself grace. So I definitely say that. Definitely say that to you. Reflecting on this Naplex journey in this series has really been uplifting to me, to really say that, LaQuita, you overcame it. And I remember at a time it was such a big giant in my life, and how it wasn't, because it's always gonna be another giant. Things will happen. Like Noah says, 3 things always constant. You're either in a storm, going in a storm, or coming out one. And I was in that storm with that Naplex, and you're probably in that storm. But I know it may sound so minute, so simple, in the simplicity of these steps. But honestly, these simple steps were the foundation and game changer to help me pass the exam. It was literally a game changer, and honestly, it was the blueprint to how I truly encounter giants in my life now. Like, for instance, when my mother died, right? I spent such a long time in anger and in sadness, in depression, in bargaining. And once I start coming out of it a little bit, I was like, why didn't I just pray like I used to? I used to pray for people so hard who do me wrong, but I was responding in anger. Like, when I just started reflecting and take a step back and say, something got to give, I gotta change something. And I started changing my responses of how I react to things. And it helped me to become a better person, where it was like, I no longer was trying to survive life without my mom, to transition to how can I live life better, now seeing how life is so precious and we leave so quickly. That was the thought process, the transformation of my mindset. This series has really shown me that, like even now I'm speaking to at the time of this video, I do have a giant, and the giant is, honestly, just being hot, honest, open, transparent. I'm good at a lot of stuff. I can do a lot of things. But sometimes it's like, but is it my purpose? Is it my why? Like the passion for it? Sometimes I wonder. I don't know what that looks like, but it's one of those things of saying, it's like, I remember this days that been such a giant, and how it's no longer one. And the lessons it taught me. It taught me a lot. Because it wasn't just about studying harder. It was about finding a way that worked for me. It was about me changing how I approach trials and tribulations. It was it was that. I want to encourage you, Doc. And yes, I said Doc. I want to encourage you to assess your study habits. Make the necessary adjustments. Identify those limited beliefs. Replace them with those positive affirmations. Change your routine to align with your peak energy times. Structure that study plan to that things to for structure the study plan according to your study habits, to your learning style. Utilize resources available to you. Incorporate those active learning strategies, and surely prioritize your self-care. If you need support on this journey, I'm excited to announce this upcoming release of a interactive Naplex study planner. We are in the works of it. You'll be seeing promo very soon. This Naplex study plan is designed with you in mind, with built-in study schedules, daily quizzes and tips for you, with daily motivation for you, and self-care. I believe that this planner will be a valuable tool for anyone who's preparing for the Naplex. Whether this is your first attempt, second attempt, or third attempt, or more. You may be on your last attempt. If you are days, a couple weeks, I don't say days, a couple weeks from taking the exam, you should definitely look out for this planner. You should definitely put this on your, I need to get this, I need to get into it. I'm not just pitching for me. It's one of it's this is not created for to say, hey, I have a product. This is created because I want to give something to my clients and those who probably can't afford my services, but can't afford this planner. I want to help, and I wanted to give it to my clients because they needed more of day to day. And I wanted to give it to them. They have some guides and a checklist of what to do. I hope something I have said transform your life, transform your journey, and propel you to take actionable steps to make this attempt, this Naplex attempt, your last attempt. Do yourself a justice and stop worrying about funds and money, and know that it's going to happen. Invest in yourself and take the steps that you need to propel yourself away. As I had to prepare yourself forward, I had to ask myself, what was I not doing? Did I exhaust all the things I could do, all the resources accessible to me? What did I needed? What did I learn? What did I needed? And for me, and for like you may need a coach. And you may say, well, Dr. LaQuita, I don't know if I'm you the right person. I don't know either, but we can't figure that out on the strategy call, because I got to understand where you at, what you've been doing, and how I can help you move forward. Okay? Please like, comment, subscribe. Until next time, remember that pharmacy is on limit if you are. Now go be great. Talk to you guys later.